So in this section, we are going to learn about the graphical user interface GUI with one case study. So the case study that we will learn in this section is about a coffee shop. So you can learn how to read and write a text file. And we are going to make a kind of menu or kiosk for a coffee shop. And we are going to make a kind of report for a coffee shop. Read and write a text file. So we are going to learn how to create and read text file. So before we start the case study, let's study about how to write a text file and how to read a text file. What does it mean by write? Write means we are going to save some text into a file. Read, it means we are going to read some text from a file. So save, it means we are going to make a file. If it is read, then we are going to read from. Now let's make this file write.py and let's put this code. So I can make this in the GUI. Let's suppose I make it in the GUI with the Python file. So I'm going to make a new file, write.py. In this case, I'm going to make a function. This is the main function. And we are going to open a file, or we are going to create a file. So in this case, we are going to create city.txt. W means we are going to write. What we are going to write is we are going to write about soul, and we are going to write in the out file. So what is out file? We are going to write in this variable. So the variable here is about the file name, or this is the city.txt. We are going to write soul/n. What is /n? It is going to the next line. Okay. After I finish writing soul, I go to the next line, and then I would like to write Busan, and then go to the next line, and then I write Jeju. After I write those three, then I would like to close it. So if you run this, right? Okay, let me run again. Run this. Okay, you will see there will be a new file that is city.txt. So if you open the city.txt, then it contains Seoul, Busan, and Jeju. Okay, so this is the simple write function. The next is how to read a file. In this example, we are going to read the text file. So in this case, we are going to read the city.txt and show the text in the Python environment. In this case, we are going to use PyCharm. So let's create read file.py, and then let's copy and paste this one. So let's make read file.py, and then copy and paste the code. Now let's see the function, the main function. The main function, it means we are going to open the city.txt. Now you can see there is a new string. This is R. What does it mean by R? It is about read. If you want to read the data, then you need to use R. If you want to write or you want to save the data, then you need to use W. Okay. Because we are going to read the file, so I put this file, we are going to read it and put the file into one variable in file. Now we are going to look the file line by line. Okay. So read the text file line by line. You can see from the city.txt there are 3 lines, 1, 2, and 3. Then we need to make a loop. The first statement, it is to check the first line. So read line, because we have the Seoul, Busan, and Jeju. The first statement, let's read line, it means let's read the first line. And then the value of the first line will be in the variable line. Let's check what is line. If line not equal to blank, it means if there is a text on the line, let's go to the statement. So I would like to print what is the content of the line. And then I will go to the next line, because we have 3 lines, which is Seoul, Busan, and Jeju. So after I know the first line is Seoul, so I will go to the next line, which is Busan, and then check the next line. Is the line is empty? No, we have Busan. Then we will print it. And then we go to the next line. So we will go to read the next line. The line is empty? No. Then we print again the line, and then we go to the next line. Now we will check. The next line is empty. We don't have any string. Then we stop from this one. Then the code finishes. So if you run this, you can see Seoul, Busan, and Jeju. We are reading the file city.txt. Okay, this is the simple read and write. Now, let's make something more complex. We are going to write a list. So what is a list? We learn about array. Suppose we have two-dimensional list. Two-dimensional list. Do you still remember? Okay. We learn about the multi-dimensional list. in the multi-dimensional list, we have a list, and then we have another list. We have another list, and we have another list. Okay. Now let's suppose I have a data. Okay. So this is a data. How can we read this data? Because we are going to look at a coffee shop, we have three elements. How do we know we have three elements? We have Americano, this is the first element. We have 1, this is the second element. And we have 3,500, this is the third element. Then from this data, I can say that we have the menu name, which is Americano. And then I have the quantity, which is 1. And then this is the price, 3,500. The second data, I have another name, cafe latte, and then I have a quantity 1, and then I have the price 3,500. And using this data, I would like to save this data into a text file. So how can we save it? Okay, then let me write the code instead of copy and paste. So you can look at the step by step. Okay, I will make a new Python file, right? This two file. Okay, so at the first, we can make our data. So the data will be a list. And then the first data, let's assume I have one Americano. And then I have the quantity, and then I have the price. And then the second, I have cafe latte. I have the quantity, and I have the price. So let's make two data. Okay. After I have the data, I need to define what is the file name. In this case, the file name will be, I will just make it as output file.txt. So the file name that you will save into your PyCharm, the name will be output file. Now, I would like to open it. Okay. So I would like to write. What is the meaning by write? I need to open the file first, open file name. Okay, from the previous example, we need to call the file name. So the file name is output file.txt. And we are going to write. Okay, W means we are going to write or we are going to save it. And this, I'm going to save it as a file. Okay, I'm going to save it as a file. After I have this statement, Python wants to know what content you want to save on the file. Then I would like to check for any row in the data. So what is the data? The data is this one, Americano 1 and 3,500. And then the other data is cafe latte 1 and 3,500. So one row means one data. Another row means this data. And I would like to check for every line. So every line, in this case, I'm going to use the comma. So we are going to join it. What does it mean by this one? We are going to split this item and give the comma into the file, and we are going to join for every of the item. Let's make it as a string. So what is the string? As you can see here, Americano is a string. What about this one? This is a number. This is also a number. In Python, we have several data types. The first data type is string, and then we have integer, we have float. Okay. In this case, the data type is integer. Whenever you save elements into a file, you need to use string. Okay. You need to use string. And I would like to change everything in the data as a string, and this is for any item in the row. So you already learned the comprehensive list. Okay. So, or this is the list comprehension. In this case, for any item in the row, what is the row? The row will be this one. And for any item, it means this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. So we are going to join them, and we use the comma. After we have this one, now let's write it into the file. What we are going to write is the line, and after we write the line, we will go to the next line. So after we write the line, we will go to the next line. Now let's run it. You will have a new file, output file.txt. Okay, you can have a new file, output file.txt. Let's look at this one. Now, the format in the text file is Americano, comma 1, comma 3500. We have cafe latte, comma 1, comma 3500. Okay. So this is how we write a list into a text file. Okay, this is the comma to separate for every of the data. So the comma will separate the item. So we call this is the item, the first item, and then we use comma to split, and then this is the quantity, and then we use comma, and then this is the price. Next, how if we want to read? How if we want to read the file to? I want to read the file, and then I want to create a list. So this file is a string, but I want to make a list into the Python. Then how can we make a list? So let's make a new file. Okay, I will do step by step. Let's make a file, read file to list. Okay. So this is the Python statement to read the text file and show it into a list. note that all the data become string. What does it mean? When you have this data, in the text file, every data is a string. Then you need to split this string into some kind of separator. So you can look at this Americano. Americano N1, there is a separator which is comma. 1 and 3500, there is a separator which is comma. Then we can do split with comma. Now the first, you can just call the file name. Okay, what is the file name? In this case, we are going to use the output.txt. And then we want to use the file name, so we call the file name with open the file name. And the previous example, we use W. W means we want to write or we want to save. But in this case, we want to read. Then we need to change to R. And we are going to make this one as a file. And then let's check the line. For any line, I would like to strip. Okay. Oh, before this one, sorry. I need to do the file dot read lines. So I need to read the line in the text file. Here, I would like to check for all the information. So you can see, if I run this, sorry, this is not output, so it should be output file. Okay, the file name is output file. So if you directly call the data from output file.txt, okay, after you read all the lines, what you see here is everything is a string. So Americano, comma 1, comma 3500, and then there is a /n. And also the second data, we have cafe latte 1 3500, and then we have /n. So when you make this data back to the original, we need to make a separator, or we need to split this one. Okay, we do not want to have all the data at the same string. And we can make it with the for. Okay. For any line in lines. So what does it mean for any line in line? If you check this one, for line, so we can see the first line is Americano, comma 1, comma 3500. And the second line is cafe latte, 1 and 3500. Okay. Now, we need to do something to make it into a list. At the first step, I would like to strip. Okay, what does it mean by strip? So line, let p equals to line strip. If you run it, then what happens? The /n has been removed. So the strip, if you look at the detail, strip means we want to remove leading or trailing white space and new line characters. So if you, in the previous one, okay, let me close this. You can see the white space. This is the new line characters. So we want to remove this one. In order to remove that one, we can use strip. But still, when we already finished with this one, the data is not separated. It is still one string. So I want to make a separator. I want to make Americano and 1 and 3500 separate. And there's one function we can learn here. We can use split. So last time we learned about the easy split. So here we want to split the data from the line, and the split will use comma. So we are going to split the data because the separator is comma. Then let's print the data. Then you will get the information Americano 1 and 3500. Okay. So this is a separator element. The element has been separated by the comma, and then we have a list. Okay. This is a list, and the list contains 3 elements back to the original data. Now, questions. How if I want to change this into numbers? I know that Americano is a string, but how can I change this 1 and this 3500 into numbers? Okay. So we need to have another function. Okay. So another function means we need to check whether all of them are digits. So if all of them are digits, then we can change them as numbers. If one of them not digit, for example, if we have Busan 09, okay, it means we have digit 0 and 9, but we also have character. Then it is not numbers. Or let's say 01 January, Jan, like this one, then it is also not a number because it combines between the digits and text. So we need to have a function to know that this kind of characters are digit. Okay, then this is the basic one to do the read and write the data into text file. So we are going to make the coffee shop. I think because of the time, I cannot finish all the things. So let's just let me just give you the introduction about the coffee shop. So we are going to make a simple coffee shop application. So in this case, now we are going to create the coffee shop.py, which is the kiosk, and then there will be a report So the report means how many coffee that I already sell until today. And then we are going to make a GUI for the financial report. So the GUI will be something like this one. Okay. Until next week for the team project meeting, I hope that you already have an idea or a user interface what you are going to do with your project. Okay. So if you are making a coffee shop, maybe you can design your coffee shop user interface. If you are making a restaurant, then you can design what kind of things you will design in your user interface. Okay. So as I mentioned to you, when you use this user interface, the GUI, you need to make sure that the design is complete. If your design does not complete, if you want to add more button or you want to add more checkbox and so on, then it will make you, it is time consuming because after you have the code and then you need to revise this one and then you make the code and then you revise this one, you make the code and then you revise this one. That is not good process. Okay. So make a good design first. After you have a good design, then you can start the code. Okay. Yeah, it takes time for me to do this all. Okay, so I think I will continue this one next Tuesday. Okay, so today let's do the learning check. I just want to know whether you still remember with about object oriented or not.